So our speaker today is one of the world's foremost experts in weather prediction. He correctly forewarned us about the last drought, 2012, and flood nearly 23 months in advance. He is a personal consultant to Jim Cantori, the chief meteorologist on the Weather Channel. And he is here today to discuss why predicting the weather is getting harder and harder. The reasons why might surprise you. Please welcome former National Weather Service Senior Advisor and currently Al Roker Award winner, Rick Roberts.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate that. Thank you, Frank. How about a nice round of applause for Frank and all the bunch here. They do a good job, and man, Hats Catering for that incredible meal there, that was something else. Well, it's good to be here with you today. I grew up on a tobacco farm just outside of Lexington, Kentucky, so you know, I know about the impact of weather and what it can do to your crop, your yield, and everything you touch, really. The weather kind of drives it all. So when I was about 25, I left the farm and got into meteorology school. To be honest, because it was a 2-year school, and I thought I could get in and out real quick and not have to do a lot of learning, but it turned out to be something I was pretty good at. And the first 10 years that I did it, I had pretty good accuracy. You know, we'd have these competitions throughout the year that keep track, and I was averaging 98 to 99% accuracy with my forecasting, and I was taking advantage of tools back then, computers and different things. But here recently, there's been so much change in technology, it's getting tougher and tougher for a weather guy to predict, you know, what's coming up, for even the upcoming months sometimes. And I've done a lot of studies, and unfortunately, a lot of the impact on the difficulty in making predictions is the alternative energy sources that people are adopting. I don't know how many farmers here, if anybody has any wind or solar farm capabilities, you know, got a turbine in your farm somewhere, but this stuff here that's supposed to help us is kind of fighting against us as a weather guy. So, you know, people all over putting up these solar panels. Solar power is a big deal, and since the broad acceptance of solar panel installation, there's been a 13% drop in the accuracy of Doppler radar. You know, a lot of confluence of signals going on, and that's a big, in fact in the industry they call it Doppler radar because it misses so often now. That's a big deal. In short, there's magnetic transference that happens and it jams up the signals. It delays the results that we used to get instantaneously. Now it's being delayed because of the magnetism. It's really affecting things right and left. I'm not going to bore you with this graph, but basically that was the reason previous droughts had been missed. All this magnetic transference, the microwaves and the radio waves doing the biggest disservice. Project Thunderstruck was launched about 6 years ago. Basically, it's the world's largest weather balloon, and because of all this solar panel reflection, it's reflecting off of the weather balloons. We're getting decoy ripples across the network, and it's just getting harder and harder to figure out what the actual weather is going to be. Sadly, not only does it affect me as a weather guy, it affects wildlife. You don't hear a lot about it in the news, but a lot of negative things are happening with all these alternative energy sources. The Himalayan monkeys, a lot of their newborns usually are very healthy, but the mortality rate is skyrocketing because even in the Himalayas, they have solar energy farms, and it's really affecting the wildlife there. In the U.S., I don't know if it comes around your news very often, but scalded paw is a big deal with squirrels. A lot of these rooftops that have the solar panels across them, the solar panels get pretty hot. Squirrel's going to be a squirrel, and the squirrels are running across those solar panels, burning their paws. I'll show you a couple other pictures. Feel bad for the one in the top left there, but it's a real issue, and yeah, I know. A lot of people just shoot the squirrels off, but that scalded paw is a pretty dangerous thing. The reflections from solar farms in Nevada alone has blinded about 3% of the bald eagles, and not only is that a federal offense, but the installation of those solar panels, the guys installing were actually held accountable for that as well. PETA's trying to arm all the squirrels, make sure that they can fight back a little bit. I'm not a big fan of PETA. I mean, PETA will sue you for your arm getting stuck in an alligator's mouth. You know what I'm saying? Choke an alligator. But you know, PETA's going to be PETA. That's what they do. Down in Jackson, Mississippi, they had a lot of incentives, tax incentives, to put these solar farms in, but they accidentally put one in on the breeding and mating ground of the shaggy hollow possum. 27-acre solar farm was put right there on its main site right before mating season. And I don't know if you're like me, I don't think those things should be mating anyway. Look how ugly that thing is right there. I mean, anything you can do to stop that from happening is all right with me. Take that, PETA. But the big and short of it is a lot of these heat spots are generating reflective kickback. And whenever we try to look and predict our weather patterns like we did in the past, we're getting mixed signals, and it's making it really, really difficult. Also, when you have these solar panels on your home, I don't know if anybody does have them, but you know, in the hot summer months, if you get a nice cooling rain, all the rain bounces off the solar panels, doesn't cool your house down, and conversely, in the winter when you need a hot warming feel, you don't get that as either. Now, I don't put all the blame on solar. We've seen a lot of problems, big problems, with wind, all these turbine farms everywhere. Basically, one of these suckers right here, 10 kilowatt machine, can power an entire house, but it produces enough of this circular cubiculus that it kind of fools our computers and our radar simulators. Obama's the one to blame for all that. He had the big wind equals a win-win initiative. And to be honest, people kind of got the feeling that if he's pushing it, it must be pretty good, you know? And then all of a sudden, over 8 years in his term there, the tax credits lured people into it. They really had no interest in the first place. And Trump's fighting back. I saw this tweet the other day, February 11th, so pretty recently. Obama's wind equals a win-win initiative is a disgrace. Wait till my wind farm fallacy report blows it wide open. Look how many people like that, 56,000. And they're not even weather people. So, you know, Trumpy don't mess around. If he don't like it, he's going to squash it, you know, when he puts down his Twitter phone and gets back to work. The big story here is global warming. We all know about that. A lot of these wind farms increase the nighttime temperatures because they're kicking the hot air right back down the ground where normally it's cooling off. In Texas, they've had these turbine tornadoes. I don't know if you've heard about these on the news, but it's warming up the nights almost to a full degree Celsius. And over time, we expect that to double. Another scary fact is the amount of clockwise rotation on these wind turbines. It's fighting the natural Earth's rotation. And NASA has suggested that it's actually slowing the rotation of the Earth down to an effect that the sun is now longer on one spot of land than it used to be. It's cooking that ground hotter, and it's burning the hole right through the ozone layer. So pretty scary stuff going on right there. So the conclusion that I came to is that all these clean energies are really affecting my job. And I'd like to sit here and tell you exactly what the weather's going to be like for the next 6 months, next year even. I've basically gone to the rock system. I don't know if y'all use the rock system of weather prediction, but you put a rock on the back porch. If it's cold, it's going to be cold that day. If it's wet, put on a jacket, you know what I'm saying? Basically, it's hard to predict a Sharknado if you're trying to go off all these tried and true systems because they're all disrupted. We all know, you check your rain gauge, you know how much it rained. By the shade of the caterpillar in April, you know if it's going to be a long summer, hot summer, or a cool one, right? I'm not the only person that knows that. Also, you just pick up a farmer's almanac. That's all you got to do, about $2.97 at your local market. And you can pick up any year of the farmer's almanac, and that pertains to this year. I don't know if you ever had them back to back, but they don't change anything in there. They don't, they just change the ads. And I've recently went back to 1792. It's the same forecast as it is in 2017. Now, what does that mean for us? Eventually, they're going to get it right if you stay consistent. So really what I'm here to tell y'all is as much as I'd like to be able to give you some insight into this current year, y'all are just as good at predicting it as I am. I mean, basically, me and Frank can sit here and figure out the weather.
Rick?
Yes, sir?
You put out a lot of, I don't want to say garbage, but are you sure this stuff is right you're telling us?
I've done a lot of research on it. I spent about a day on Google. And, I Googled it and I Binged it and I Yahooed it till it came out right.
Is that right? You know, I think a comedian could probably do it better than you. I'm sorry.
I'm the current Al Roker Award winner.
Well, I know, but some of this stuff is...
Well, listen.
I mean, I never heard about this paws on the squirrel that's...
Scalded paw.
Scalded paw.
Well, maybe you don't have great newscasters around here, not on top of things.
I'm kind of sorry.
I mean, every 4-H county person in the world knows about scalded paw.
Well, I'm sorry, I had never heard about it till tonight.
Well, you brought in an expert. Sometimes you learn a few things. That's all I'm saying. But if you think you could do better or find you a comedian,
I think I can do that. I really do.
All right.
Sorry, I just didn't quite get that done. So, people, you know me. I love a good comedian. So our comedian today is a favorite on Blue Collar Radio. He's featured on CMT, 20's greatest redneck moments, and he doesn't know a thing about weather forecasting. Would you please welcome Rick Roberts from Nashville, Tennessee. Rick, where you at?
I'll be over here. All right. All right, thank you, sir. Thank you for putting up with my nonsense there. It was a lot of Googling, and took longer than I expected to put that together. Well, everything I told you so far is a lie, except for I grew up on a tobacco farm. So let's start there. And